Welcome to 5 Good Minutes,
Considering the season of Advent
with Brady Randall.
We've been looking at the reactions of the arrival of Jesus in Matthew chapter 2. Herod was cold-hearted and anti-Jesus. The religious leaders were indifferent. And today I want to look at the response of the Magi. And here's what we read in verses 10 to 11. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and they presented him with gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. The word for overjoyed means to rejoice exceedingly with great joy. They were overwhelmed with joy because they found the one that they'd been looking for. They found their ultimate treasure in Jesus. That's why they brought their gifts. And the only proper response was exceeding joy, was worship and giving gifts. They had seen his star in the sky, which is a word that means blazing forth or something that shines. And in a way, you could say that God was literally lining up the heavens for these pagan men to find his son, the King of the Jews, the King of all the earth. And they may have had a past of doing things that dishonored the Lord, like practicing magic arts. But now they've heard that Jesus has come, and their response was to get to Jesus and to bow down and to worship him. And I wonder today if you and I find ourselves in this camp. Maybe you, like the Magi, have been genuinely searching for something, for meaning, for purpose, for hope, for a Savior. And maybe today God is reminding you that what you're ultimately searching for, what you've been searching for and missing all along, is really him. Maybe today you and I have some skeletons in our closet. Maybe we have a past that we're not proud of, but God has been working in your life, and he's bringing you to this point today. And in the same way that God was literally moving the heavens in the form of the star to reach the Magi, who, again, by the way, are Gentiles, meaning they're non-Jewish. So God is calling to all people. He may be moving heaven and earth today to get your attention. This is the kind of God, this gracious, kind, loving God that we're celebrating at Christmas. A God who has a heart for those who are far off. A God for the mess-ups and the screw-ups. A God who would reach down so far as to put on and take on human flesh and live in this broken world to experience the suffering and brokenness that you and I experience. And maybe today you recognize that you too are in need of a Savior. That you cannot do life on your own, that you've tried to be self-sufficient. You have tried to pull yourself up with your own bootstraps. You've maybe even tried to be a good person and a religious person and earn your way to God, but the reality is for all of us is that we cannot be good enough. And that's why Jesus came. And the Magi coming to Jesus here in Matthew chapter 2, it proves that Jesus saves all kinds of sinners, not people who have it all together, but magicians and sorcerers. And God's invitation to all of us this Christmas season is to bow down in the way that the Magi did. And you and I can bow for the first time, or we can bow again humbly with our very lives, with our whole heart and our whole life submitted to him in joyful surrender for who he is and what he's done this Christmas. And let me just say this, Jesus was not just born for you, but though he was born in a wooden feeding trough, he ended up dying on a cross. He died for you, and he took your place on the cross so that you could be with him. You could be with his Father forever. That's the glory and the beauty and the joy of Christmas. And that's the greatest news that I could share with you today. And if you already know this to be the case, this is the greatest gift that you could receive and give to someone this Christmas, the ultimate gift of hope, Jesus himself. So this Christmas season, may you and I decrease, and may Jesus increase for the rest of our lives until we see him face to face.
Thanks for joining us here today.
There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.